Okay. Now, well, good evening. This is Ingmar again with another installment of our Gothic horror comic character. Now, we almost completed the first pass of the shadow session last time, and I think we should now skip to the lighting parts, adding some highlights at certain areas of the character, and yeah, well, let's see what we can do with the background, maybe some gradients there to have a nice contrast with the foreground, or to actually make the character pop out of the area. Okay, let's start. And there is no image. That is not so good. Oh man, my. Why is the iPad not showing? That's not so good. Oh, come on. Okay, I guess I have to disconnect once again. Okay, it shows it is connected. That's not so great. Okay, sorry, I've got to stop this. I'll restart in a second. And then we'll see if this might work. It's not showing up. Apple, what are you doing? Seriously, since Steve died, there are some major glitches in hard and software. Phew. How do we get this now fixed? Okay, well, let's see. It is actually connected via cable. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so disconnect it once again. And reconnect it. So something reacted actually in the... This is just incredible. Oh, come on, that can't be true. Seriously? Oh, come on, Apple, please. Enable preview. Yeah, EVA. Well, that's not so great. Now, what do we see now? Do we see anything? And now OBS is also previous currently enabled. Ah, so there we are. Okay, May. Yes, this is good. Finally. So, would have been nice though if it worked right away. Okay. So, but also the stream seems to do, at least OBS is telling me it's green. So I guess you've got a halfway acceptable voice and audio experience. Okay, now let's see. There is our character from the last time, and now I would like to put some highlights on top of it. Now the problem is that we've already got some areas of the image that are very bright, and I would lighten them even more, and then it would be hard to distinguish between the areas that are already very bright. For example, the skin, or parts of the skin, of the cheekbones and stuff, and the highlight I'm putting on top of it. So what I'll do is I'll add another layer and darken the whole area. So going here, I'll add another layer, and then I'll need some kind of, well, some color for that. Let's take some tone like this one, and then we'll have the whole area looking like that, which is not quite what I wanted. Anyway, if I remove the reference from the ink layer, then it should do. Okay, so let's do it that way. Okay, now everything is much darker, indeed much too dark, and I'll need to change the blend mode of this layer right now. The N stands for normal. That's not what we want. What we actually want is to darken the background. So, and then if we let that sit there on 100%, we won't have much of an effect, but around maybe 30% this could help. So, like this. Now I'm gonna lock that layer. This is just a utility and auxiliary layer that will be removed later on. It's just to make it easier to see what I'm actually doing. And now this will be the layer where the actual color for the light resides in. Now you could take actually a complete neutral white, which would not be optimal. For some daylight-like experience, I would like to take a lighter yellow, somewhere like this. This would be the tone, or the color. And now we've got the same procedure as with every other layer I've created, or almost every other layer I've created. That would be to use the masking feature and invert that. And now I'll draw on the mask, erasing the parts that should shine through. And on the layer that is masked, I still got to change the blend mode. We'll take add for now, and we'll lock this. So every other layer is, well, almost every other layer is locked. This one and this can be also locked, so I'm not accidentally changing some other settings. Now, okay, I'll draw in this layer in the layer mask up here. Alright, so now let's take our tool for the lighting, and since this is the first pass, I'll take something neutral and just use the airbrushing tool. And also for the eraser, there's also already selected, and the finger, the smudge tool, also should be the airbrush tool. Okay, now let's have a little test. Is this working? Yep, it brightens up, or it lightens up the area over here pretty drastically. Now I think what's still a bit missing, or problematically, see, this is very neutral. I think I should, maybe I should take a yellow with a bit more saturation over here. Still not seeing it there. Okay, let's go and be really drastic. Yeah, now we are beginning to see an actual color in the lit spaces over there. And we could even go further, I think, and put a very, yeah, okay, that's maybe too much. Okay, let's return it to something else. Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, that could work. Okay, so now I can lock the color layer and concentrate on the mask. Good. All right. Now we've got, this is working, yeah, and then here's the eraser working also. Nice one. So I'm reducing the opacity of my brush tool, and now since the lighting will be, these should be highlights, very, very carefully increasing the brightness here. Then I will be going and light up, put some reflections on the nose, somewhere here. The areas I'm working with now will be exactly these patches of skin that are quote-unquote looking right at the camera, right at the light source, sorry. And well, we could also light up the bit of the eyeball here. And what would be nice to have a reflection inside the iris. I'm not quite sure if this will actually work or look convincingly. Let's see what we can do. Now, if we imagine the light is coming from the left frontal upper side, then it would go through the eyelashes and then maybe lighting up a part of the iris also, and casting a shadow. The shadow is already there, but the reflection of the light on the eyeball is missing. I think it would be blocked. Maybe that's not. That's the fault of whoever did the pencils, which was of course me. And now we're seeing the lighting right here. Okay, now I think we'll have to work on this later on, but for the first pass I'll leave it like that. And I think I've got to put the light on top of the ink. Okay, now let's go and add some highlights to the lips over there. Well, maybe it's even too much color there. I might have exaggerated or overdone it. But as you know, that's no problem, because we can always change the color later, which we couldn't if it wasn't for the masking approach. So this is helping immensely when trying to fix things later on, which you might not even be able to perceive up front. So somewhere like that, and then we have an actual, oh, that's too much, that's too small, and then we might have a reflection up here, something like that. And then the ear, of course, there might be a highlight on the inner ear. And here maybe, of course, the ink strokes. The inking strokes are also a bit, well, maybe we should reduce them later on. And then this area up here. I've been looking up what the name for the structure for the material below the skin here is, but I forgot how the name of Knorpel is in English. Maybe if someone of you know, just you could tip it or type it into the chat box. And as always, if you've got any questions, you may either write a comment, I will answer them later on, or just put it in the chat box now and I will tell you about the answer or what I think about it at the end of the stream. So we're somewhere here. Now I'll take another larger approach and work on the shoulder. Just a rough idea. And all this is also just as we modeled the shadow, or we used the shadow to model the surface. All these highlights and lighter parts are also giving the user, the viewer, cues about what the surface is actually, or how the surface is actually shaped, and the curvature of surface. So, alright. Well, what we will have to do later on is the hair. And for now I'll just skip to the frontal part of this little concept arty test right here. So, and then the nose in the frontal view. This is maybe a bit easier right here. And then usually, depending on the anatomy or the anatomical individual features of our character, we'll have another highlighter over here, which is right now much too strong. This is okay, because it's just a first pass. You have to go into the details later on if you really want to make it perfect. For the first part, that's alright. We just need a rough approximation to whatever we want to convey or show. And if you are the same person who judges or who whose role or whose job is it to have an opinion of your work and judge whether it's acceptable or not, then there's not so much of a problem. If, however, you're working with some kind of creative or art director, or rather creative director, then maybe you will have to add some more detail. So, alright, now the lips, just like that. Could reduce it a bit, maybe. Alright. So, this is of course all just some. Okay, the shadow is the shadow of the nose should be. Yeah, it's a bit too steep, I think. This is a bit too steep for this shadow. Just remove that again for the highlight here, and I think I can do it that way. And then I could argue, okay, there, and the tip of the nose is darkening the part of the upper lip, so, well, it's casting a shadow over there, so no highlight over there. Alright. Okay, now let's have a look at the throat, at the lower part over here. This can be done there. We could light this up a bit. Alright. Now let's go for the clavicle. This is the bone over here. Could also be a bit brighter. And parts of the shoulder over here. And of course on the left side. Well, actually it's her right side, but well, you know. No? So then softening the gradient. At least I'm trying to soften it. Why isn't that working? The tool is too small. Yeah, of course. So, okay. So that is, well, somewhat working. Okay, we've got to refine this later on. Maybe I'm refining the highlight on the shoulder right away. And, well, we could have a look at the opacity of the whole thing here. Unlock, and maybe we should reduce this a bit. Somewhere here, that could work. Okay, but first let's add some more light to the hair and the Alice band. It is the Alice band. In English, this hair holding device is called Alice Band. Wonders of the English language. I still don't know if it's called Alice Band because of the oh, what happened there? Doesn't matter. Because of Alice in Wonderland, or where the name is actually coming from for this device up here. So like that. Yep. Good. Now the hair. Now we got to switch the brush. I'll be using acrylics this time. Of course, it looks a bit like, well, structure of hair. And of course, we've got to change the other tools as well. So everything we use up there will increase or at least support the look of whatever we're doing there is hair. Alright. So, and that's too much. Reduce the opacity of the tool. Yeah, could work. Something like that. And we really got to reduce the saturation later on, I think. Right, let's do it that way. The finger, the smudge tool. Right. Okay. Good. I'm just adjusting the reflections over here, and maybe we've got to separate the layers for the shadow. So somewhere here with the main reflections. Bringing some structure later on. Okay. I really think I've got to separate the layers. This won't work. Let's have a test with another color over here. Yeah, well, not really satisfied with that result. At least for the hair, it's problematic. Yeah, it's too much. There, it's too much, and for the skin, it's not enough. Okay, we could reduce that. Is that working? That would be okay for the skin. So, alright now, well then, let's duplicate the layer and the mask. Make that our reference again, and now we are removing from automatic. From the hair, we are removing anything we did up there, and invert. No, that is not such a good idea. Okay, remove that, and I'll just erase that, and this layer, and the other layer that's still there. Just like that. Yeah. Nope. just drop some black into that. Should do the job. Okay, and now the other way around on our second lighting layer, and there we'll go into the reference. This is okay. Now we are selecting cancel. I'm here, that's alright. So you can actually give me something to select. Yeah, thanks a lot. So that's good. Okay, now let's clear that. Right here, drop some black, cancel. This one over here, activate it, and now I'm dropping some black inside this and here also, so the shadow won't be that intense, it won't be doubled anymore. At least that's what I hoped for. I'm still here? Yep. Alright, okay. So, yeah, right. Now let's start looking serious at the hair. Right there. Okay, there we've got the highlight for the hair over there. I really try not to rhyme, but somehow. So there it is. So it's second. Yeah, right layer. That comes closer. It's still a bit too much. Yeah, could work. Maybe we'll keep it like that. And why the? Yeah, of course. We've got reference always still activated, so this doesn't actually do what we want. Clear again. And now we've got a consistently yellowish layer over here, and I can start and work on the actual highlights, maybe with white, so we actually see some effect right here. Making that smaller. Single strands or hairs that are getting a lot of light. Oh, maybe I should increase this. Unlock. Opacity is already on 100%. Why am I not getting an effect? Let's try something else. Maybe this one. Yeah, that's a bit drastic. Okay, but it could work. Wet acrylics. Okay, now this is, yeah, okay, so this could work. Yeah, alright. Come on, let's do it again. Oh, and there's a doubling shadow, we don't want that. Okay, other approach. Let's take the inking tool over there. Oh, the oil paint, come on. Yeah, at least it's reacting to the pressure of the pencil. Well, at least it would be nice if it... What the... Oh. Ah, come on. No. Take this. Yay! No. Okay. That's not what we want. Yeah. Yeah, come. Just stick with acrylics. Wasn't too bad. Put that up. Now, where are we? 75% charge. The computer's struggling with the streaming. And though it's actually connected to the nets, to the power in the wall plug, it's still losing charge, which is a bit strange. So, yeah. Yeah. Not really. Okay. See if that helps. Well, it's getting softer. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This is not that bad. I could combine these two tools, then maybe it has a chance of improval. A slight little bit, tiny little bit piece. Okay, so like that. Pushing that down so we've got a nice gradient at the end of the highlight. Yeah, could work. Okay, let's stick with that method. And let's have another part, another highlight over here. And again, draw the highlight out. And then I will use the smudge tool to actually produce halfway acceptable gradient over here. So that seems to work. Yep. Okay, it's still cheesy.